Hi everyone, Coach Holly here, and today I'm going to be teaching you about how to Knox your hair for artistic swimming. So first of all, if you watch competitive artistic swimming, when they compete they aren't wearing caps. Instead, they have stuff in their hair called Knox to keep it in place so when they're flipping around the water, their hair doesn't all come out in their face. There's quite a few steps to make sure your hair is in good condition to stay up in the pool. We're going to go through them now. Let's just go over what you'll need to Knox first. The first thing is bobby pins, at least a full pack. You'll want a comb or a brush and hair elastics. You can get Knox itself in an orange container at most grocery stores, or you can buy it in bulk. You'll need a hairnet. You'll need probably a new hairnet for every time you Knox because most of them don't last up for a second round. A springer if you have bangs or a lot of short hairs. A container to mix the Knox in, and a fork to mix it. You'll also probably get Knox on yourself, so you want to wear a t-shirt that you're okay getting dirty, not a suit that you're going to be performing in, and a towel, as well as a kettle for hot water. Before we Knox, we need to put our hair up, and there's a few steps to do that. The first one is you want to start with wet hair and comb it back into a tight, high ponytail. This step is really important, and you want that ponytail to be as tight as possible without any bumps in it. Once you have that nice ponytail, your next job is to make a bun, and there's lots of different ways to do this. A lot of athletes have different preferences, and you can watch tons of ballet tutorials on how to make a good bun. But the goal is to have a really tight bun that isn't going to fall out. So here we have Jasmine. She's using a bun form, and she's twisting the ends around. Nalea's just taken her hair and wrapped it around the ponytail, and she's using bun pins to pin it all into place. Another way to make your bun that's a little bit more secure is to braid your hair and then put it up into a bun. So usually we split the braids into two braids. You could do it in one instead. And once we have both braids made and tied off at the ends, we wrap it around the bun and pin it in. So Kala is wrapping Chloe's braids around her bun here, and she's pinning it as she goes. So she did one full braid around, and then she'll do the second one all the way around. And doing this will give you a pretty tight bun that's pretty secure on your head. And that's the goal. We don't want the bun to be able to fall out. We want it to be really tight so that when athletes are doing flips and coming up from out of the water, their bun doesn't fall out. Once you have your bun made, you're going to want to put a hairnet on, and usually we wrap it around twice, so again it's really tight. And I like to put in more pins too once I have the hairnet in to make sure it's secure. The last step before Knoxing is just to make sure any loose hairs are also back. So you can use pins to pin them back or a springer and just make sure everything's nice and slick. Making good Knox can seem a little overwhelming at first, but I promise it gets easier. Here are some tips to make sure it goes smoothly your first time. You want to make sure to start with boiling water, not just hot water from a tap. That's why you need to have a kettle with you. Also, you always want to start with a clean bowl, so even if you're making your second or third batch of Knox, you want to make sure that the bowl is clean and there's no leftover Knox from the last batch in it. The amount of Knox that you'll need to use will depend on how thick your athlete's hair is, but I like to start with 3 or 4 packs of Knox and then add water. Make sure to have your Knox in your container first and then add the water to it, not start with your water and then add the Knox. It's better to start with just a little bit of water and add more if it's too thick, but if you make it too thin, do not add more powder. It's just going to ruin your Knox. You want to add the Knox to your hair when it's still hot, so don't work too slowly, and stir your Knox at a moderate pace. If you go too quick, it'll get all bubbly. If there's any clumps in your Knox, you can squish them out into the side of your container, and in the end, you want it to be about the consistency of honey. So we have Rylan here going through the process. She started with a clean bowl and is adding some powder to it. She got hers at Bulk Barn, so it's in bulk, not in packets, but she's trying to have about 3 tablespoons. Then she takes boiling water and adds it to her Knox. She started with a little bit of water, stirred it up, and as it was really thick, she added more water because that's much easier to do than adding powder to it after. If you add powder after adding water, then it will get really chunky, and we want to avoid that. We want it to be as smooth as possible. Next, we're going to stir up our Knox, and we want to keep stirring it to get all the Knox powder dissolved until it's about the consistency of honey. If you have any chunks in your Knox, you just want to squish them against the side of the container. Once you're done making your Knox, you're going to start applying it to the hair. So you want to start at the hairline and brush the Knox back towards the bun. You don't want to go the opposite direction, and if there's any chunks, you can try avoiding putting them in the hair. You want to go all the way around the head so that all the hair and the bun is covered. You know you're done once there's no dry spots, and you might need to do 2 layers to get here. The final product should be a thick coat of Knox all around the head. The last step of Knoxing is adding in our headpiece, and this will often be done at the pool with coaches, but headpieces are pinned into the athlete's hair. There's different kind of headpieces, so they all get pinned in a little bit differently. This one has little loops we use. Once it's done being pinned, coaches will check to make sure it's secure by pulling up on the headpiece. We don't want it to fall off while athletes are competing. You want to make sure that your Knox dries before hopping in the pool so that it doesn't fall out. To get the Knox out of your hair when you're done competing, shower and shampoo with hot water. Have fun Knoxing, and we'll see you at the pool.